Handel, and welcome to tonight's edition of the Regional News. We start off tonight with news out of Trinidad and Tobago. The judiciary of Trinidad and Tobago has collected $170.9 million in fines paid by errant and delinquent drivers who committed traffic offenses and violations between 2011 and 2015 on the nation's roads. This startling figure does not include the 120,489 tickets that remained unpaid in the courts for the same period, which currently represent millions of dollars in outstanding revenue for the state. The amendments to the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act of 2017, which is expected to be proclaimed next month, will see the introduction of new road laws and measures that will see the government mashing the brakes on reckless, careless, and delinquent drivers. The implementation includes the use of speed spot cameras, penalties for late payment of tickets, red light cameras, and law enforcement officers using handheld devices to issue electronic tickets. In addition, tickets will no longer be paid at the courts, and motorists can have their driver's permits suspended. Statistics from the judiciary show the total revenue collected on traffic offenses and violations in the courts for the 5-year period stood at $170,922,332. The number of tickets paid stood at 172,769 compared to the 289,140 tickets that were handed out by law enforcement officers. And still in Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago Special Olympics athlete Sean Gibson, 34, has been found dead. Police suspect he was murdered. His body was discovered at the back of a woodland vegetable stall along M2 Link Road on Saturday morning by the owner of the stall, who came to set up his place for business at 8:10 a.m. He called the police. The face of the gold medalist and former football captain appeared to have been smashed in, police said. Amid a flood of tears, Candice Gibson, sister of the murdered Special Olympian, shared the family's heart and pain in an interview with the media. Turning our attention to Jamaica. While the brutal killing of promising young attorney-at-law Shashka Fairclough has shocked in particular the parishes of St. Anne and St. James, where she practices mainly, the police have no leads yet into the murder, nor has a motive been established. Fairclough, whose age police gave as 31, was shot dead as she drove her car in the Broke Green area of northern resort town of Oco Rios Friday evening. She succumbed to her wounds at the hospital. Her mother, who was a passenger in the vehicle, was also shot and has been admitted to the hospital in serious but stable condition. Initial police reports are that the car drove up alongside that which Fairclough and her mom were in, and armed men started firing into the vehicle, hitting Fairclough in the upper body and leg. Police said that Fairclough's mother was shot in the abdomen. One police source said that the incident had all the ingredients of a contract-style killing, but insisted that it was too early to conclude that. And finally, as rescuers search for bodies amid mountains of debris and the stench of death on the Bahamas island of Abaco, life on most of the archipelago's 700 isles is little changed. Cruise ships have pulled in and out of the capital and tourist hub Nassau in the 2 weeks since Hurricane Dorian struck the northwestern islands, depositing foreign sightseers on shore who haggle for conch shells and t-shirts. Workers in the country's vital tourist trade are hoping for a quick comeback, even as the Bahamas struggles with its first steps towards recovery from a storm that killed at least 50 people and left around 70,000 more needing shelter, food, and water and medical aid. The sector faces many challenges. Two popular tourist destinations, Abaco and the island of Grand Bahama, were essentially swept off the tourist map by Dorian. Tommy Thomas, Deputy Director General of the Ministry of Tourism and Aviation, is quoted as saying that the areas hardest hit were the island's second and third most important destinations. Just over 90 miles to the north, the hunt for the bodies continued amid the wreckage of Abaco, where the United Nations World Food Program says about 90% of structures were destroyed. And that was it for our regional news this evening. Back to you, Handel.